Oh, hi, it's Mark here at Ausmusic. I just wanted to take you through a few extra steps of the student administration system. So we'll log in. Your login details have been sent to you. If you haven't got your login details, then you need to contact Ausmusic on 1300 Ausmusic or send us an email. So I'm just going to log in here, and we've gone through the process of creating a class and adding units to the class and adding students. I'm going to quickly just do that again. So the first step, don't forget, is to create your class. And if you haven't created your class first, if you create your students first, you're going to be in big trouble. So the system won't let you do it. So you need to create the class first. The class number has been a question that schools have asked us. Can we use a big long name? No, use a number. You can use letters and characters. Make it something specific to you. So it might be the initials of your school. I'm going to put, for my class, I'm going to put AMC, Ausmusic College. Then I'm going to put, it's going to be a Cert 3, so I'm going to call it 3. And then it's 2008, so I'm going to put 08. You can make it whatever you like, but don't make it too long. But it's something specific for you and for your school. And then I'm going to make it Certificate 2. I said I was going to make it Certificate 3, but I lied. I'm going to make it Certificate 2, so I'll change this to AMC 208. So I know it's Ausmusic College, a Cert 2 program or whatever, 08. And then submit. One thing about creating a class is this sets up a full certificate. So what we ask you to do is set up the full certificate. If the students have done part of it last year, you need to make sure that you add all the units for the certificate and mark them competent in the ones they completed last year. This is really important. If you only set up the class with a few units, you won't be able to request a certificate at the end of the year. Likewise, if it's a 2-year program and you're in the first year of that course, set it up for the full certificate and just mark them for the units they complete this year. Then next year, you'll be able to mark them for the rest and request the certificates. If you're having any problems with that, please give us a call. So you'll see here that it says my class has been added, and what it automatically does is adds the core units. Now these core units are the ones that are set by the national authority for the national training package. Each state education system has its own rules, so you need to make sure you follow your state's own regulations. In Victoria there's a booklet like this one which sets out what units you need to add, and there's some extra core units, so you need to make sure that you have the right units for the course and that it complies with your state's education authority so that the students can get all the credits they deserve. Okay. I can add another class if I want to, but I don't want to. I've got that class. I need to add my electives to my class. So next step, add electives. And I need to find my class because we have 3 or 4 classes set up already. And mine is the AMC 208. And it tells me also the course code, and I can see that I have got Cert 2 there. Submit. It tells me now how many units in total are required. And you'll see that it's already got 4 units added because they're core units. And it's telling me that I need 10 in total. So I've currently got set up 4 out of 10 units. Now I can go to this drop down box and see all the electives available. If there's an elective that you're doing that doesn't appear on this list and you believe that it should be there, contact us. Most of the units that are in the system, you may have imported a unit in a higher level like Certificate 3 or Certificate 4. You need to let us know and we can add that to the system. Anyway, so I need to choose 6 electives. I need to follow my state's authority guide if I'm doing it for VCE or a particular state qualification. So I'm going to add units, and you'll see that I just click on it and click add. It tells me that the unit has been added, which is fantastic. And I can keep adding my units until I've got the required number. I can't add the same unit twice. You'll see there that I've just added a unit that's already added, and it says has already been added. So it won't let me add the same unit twice, so that's all fantastic. But we can build up, as I said, up to my 10 units. So I'm up to 9, and I've got 10. Now that's a full certificate worth. That is the requirement for the full certificate too. schools and places that do some extra units, and you can do that. I can add another unit. Let me choose one here. And you'll see that I've now got 11 out of 10 units. And it says to me, you have added one extra unit. Please contact Ausmusic for approval. You need to let us know why you're doing more units, but you can add them at this stage if you wish to. If you have any, and then you'll see that you've got a full list of all the units that you've added. If there's any there that you made a mistake, you can delete them from here. And I'm going to delete one so that I have the right number of units. So now I have 10 out of 10 units. And if there's any others that are wrong, I can remove them and keep adding until I get it right. Okay? You got it? Fantastic. So we're going to move on. So that is our course. Okay? We've set up the course. The next thing is to, of course, enrol our students. Now, the student information that we require is set by the requirements of the AQTF, Australian Training Qualification Framework. Sorry, I get that right. ATQF, Australian Training Qualification Framework. AQTF, Australian Quality Training Framework. You know what I mean anyway. And if you don't, call somebody who cares. Okay. We need to add the student ID. Now, most students in most institutions will have an ID. It might be, say in Victoria, their VCE ID, or it could be an ID specifically for your school. You can use that ID, or you can create your own. Okay, so it can be a series of numbers and letters once again. I might put Ausmusic College 27108, because that's student 271 in year 08, for instance. And I need to add the student name, their full name. And I need to add their email address. The reason we need a student's email address is so that we can email the student for them to complete their full registration details. These requirements, as I said, are a government requirement for a training package. The RTO, which is Ausmusic in this case, needs to hold these records for 30 years and has to be the student name, their date of birth, their address and phone number. We don't have to hold the email address, but we've tried to make this system as easy for the teacher to use as possible. So if you enter the email address, an email will be automatically sent to the student asking them to log in to the system and complete the registration details. We can allow you to add the address and telephone number, but it obviously takes you longer, so we're trying to streamline that process. But if the student doesn't have an email address, then you need to provide those details. We'll have to request that you provide all of those details before a certificate will be issued to the student. Okay, so for this student I don't have an email address, but I do have their date of birth, which will be the 1st of the 1st, 2000, I guess, which doesn't make them very old, but anyway, their correct date of birth is required. It's used to cross-reference students so that in, say, 10 or 20 years' time, if they request a replacement certificate, we can cross-reference between their name, their address at the time, the school, and of course their date of birth. These records are also, of course, held under the Privacy Act, so we can't disclose that information to anybody other than government authorities if they have the power to do so. Also, now I need to select the class that they're in. So if you've set up more than one class, go to the drop-down box, select the class that they're in, and hit submit. This will tell me that the student has been added, which is fantastic, and I can keep adding my students.